Pereira knocked Jiri out with a head kick because of an Instagram post. Every opponent is going to block Pereira on Instagram now. This is kind of insane. Check this out. So Alex Pereira and his coach were watching Jiri Prochazka's pre-fight workout. So they're backstage drilling, and Jiri made the mistake of showing a part of his game plan, and he posted it out there. Pereira saw it, and from there knew a head kick would be there for him in the fight. So this is what his coach had to say, and Pereira also mentioned this in the post-fight press conference, that they saw something from Jiri before they walked out to fight each other.
So I say he's going to try to catch you almost like from a karate stance. He's going to come to get you in the middle. The hands are down. And Alex say, yes, but the timing that he's doing is wrong. I think I can get this guy in the head. I think I can use some high kicks with this guy. I say, you absolutely can. Bro, I swear to God, he said, let me see that thing one more time. He looked at me. He said, I'm going to kick this guy in the head tonight. Just watch.
So this is what Jiri was doing. He had his hands down, moving his front leg forward and back, trying to get away from a leg kick and then counter it with the 1-2. Look how he brings that lead leg away, then looks to counter with his right hand. But for most of these movements, his hands are down. And from this, Pereira thought that he can make Jiri believe that a leg kick would come, and then he'll follow up with a head kick afterward. And look at Pereira now. Last night, Pereira's coach posted his pre-fight workout before they walked out to fight each other, and Pereira starts drilling the left kick specifically. He didn't throw one right high kick in this entire pre-workout. It's all left high kicks, the same leg he knocked Jiri out with. This was most likely after they saw Jiri's post. He'll throw punching combinations and then follow up with a head kick, or sometimes just throw out the left head kick. Pereira's got some crazy power. You hear the sound of him hitting the pads. But the fight didn't ultimately play out exactly like that. As we know, in the end of the first round, Pereira backstepped and countered Jiri with the left hook because Jiri tends to drop his hands no matter what he does. And then he caught him with a head kick in the beginning of the second round. Now, when you look at Jiri's reaction to the kick, he thought it was going to go to the body. So ultimately, yeah, he did drop his hands when the kick came up to his head, but maybe not for the exact same reason that Pereira thought he would drop his hands. So that notion may not be the most important thing here, but the actual important thing is that from what Pereira saw from Jiri, it told him to throw the head kick regardless. So no matter what Pereira saw, if it's going to tell him to throw the head kick, and that's how he won the fight. If Jiri never posted that, we don't know if Pereira would have ever threw the left high kick at him, and the fight could have played out very differently. Probably go further into the second round or even past that into the third if Jiri Prochazka never posted his pre-fight workout. What a crazy game MMA is, man. And how astute Pereira is, studying his opponent even before the fight. I never knew that fighters will look at what the opponent is posting on social media before they walk out to fight each other. That's kind of crazy. I didn't think that Pereira or Jiri or anybody is expecting a post from his opponent while they're backstage about to go out there and fight. Pereira must be following him on Instagram or something like that, because maybe he got the notification. He's a fan of Jiri. This guy's like strategically following his opponents just to see what they're posting out there. But we know now for sure, none of Pereira's opponents are going to be posting anything on social media about any drilling, about any game plan or technique they're working on, unless they're trying to trick him. Now that's playing a little bit 4D chess. Knowing that Pereira is studying his opponent even backstage, they could post something that completely tricks him. And it's Pereira, not his coach. Pereira was the one that saw this and told his coach, I'm going to head kick this guy. The coach was like, okay. The coach was kind of surprised. Maybe that wasn't in the original game plan. But someone as experienced at kickboxing as Alex Pereira, if he sees something in the stand-up, he's probably going to be correct. And a lot of times fighters aren't necessarily the best analysts. Like, they don't study their opponents that much. They kind of leave that all to their coaches, and they just go out there and perform with whatever the coach tells them. A lot of fighters operate that way, but Pereira seems to be unknowingly pretty good at analyzing his opponents before the fight and doesn't just leave it all to his coaches. Jiri posted after the fight, though, that he's letting everybody know that he's going to evolve. He's going to get better. He says he has to get better or he's going to retire. He's most likely watched the fight back, saw some of those defensive holes in the stand-up, and then was probably kicking himself for dropping his hands like that. But that's a big thing with Jiri Prochazka. Whenever this guy goes back to the basics, he starts to perform a lot better, right? He has so much success actually being a bit more fundamental and textbook. He has a chaotic style and blends in the fundamentals at times, when it should be the opposite. He should have a fundamental style and then sometimes blend in the chaotic techniques. I think he'd become a way more effective fighter doing that. Like, for an example, when he fought Volkan Oezdemir in his UFC debut, that one really stuck out because he was getting caught a lot by Volkan when he was being extremely wild. And then he knocked him out when he became a lot more fundamental with the 1-2, for an example, or he planted himself to throw the jab and then right hook combo. And even some of the punches that he hit Alex Pereira with, they they weren't as chaotic as we've seen him before. You know, a lot of the success we see from Jiri Prochazka is when he gets the opponent all flustered because of his chaotic style and then tones it back for like a 1-2 combo, a left hook, a right uppercut, punches that are a lot more tight. One of the outliers is the Dominic Reyes fight where he knocked him out with a spinning elbow, but this is probably one of the biggest things for Jiri moving forward, is to hone in the skills of the fundamentals of the basics, keep his hands up when he's going forward or whenever he's in kicking range or something like that, and he knows that his opponent throws high kicks. For an example, against Pereira or Ankalaev, Rock Hitch, like some of these guys have pretty good high kicks. Fight behind the jab, get quick with the footwork, because after what Pereira just did to him, I can imagine a lot more fighters are going to find more defensive holes on Jiri Prochazka. They know that he drops his hands whenever he's moving forward. They know that they could just counter him with a left hook, they could counter him with a right straight, and he likes to fall back on his durability, like his chin and stuff like that, to take a punch rather than solid defense. So crazy to see how Alex Pereira pulled that off of an Instagram post from Jiri Prochazka, and we hope Jiri gets much better as a fighter. I believe most people that watched that fight were fans of both fighters, so we're all looking to see Jiri Prochazka's evolution as a fighter.